Well, how about we work on this one right here, this piece right here. Let's take a look at this. I'll just select these two pieces with the L key, and let's press Shift H and isolate it. And, well, it looks pretty simple here, actually. We could just split the corners out like we've done before. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's press Control E and mark seam. And then let's just give this a try. Let's see what happens. Do we have faces on the bottom of these things? No, we don't. So let's just see what happens. I'll press A and U and unwrap. And yeah, that's pretty ugly, huh? So that didn't quite work. Let's go ahead and press Alt-click here and Shift-Alt-click here. And let's mark a seam and let's see what we get with this. Yeah, that's a lot better. Okay. We could change from conformal to angle-based, but it looks like conformal's doing a little bit better there. So I think that's fine. We've got a little bit of stretching here, but it's still blue. It's not bad. And it's, once again, going to be a very small part of the overall vehicle. So let's press Alt-H and bring everything back, and let's see what else we have. I'm going to switch back to the solid view here. What about this thing? This handle here. Let's check this one out. Let's press the L key and select these three pieces. And then I'll press Shift H to isolate them. And all right, let's take a look at this. So it is three pieces. So we should be able to select an edge, maybe down here. Let's just press Alt and click here and mark a seam there. And let's see what happens if we just select this and unwrap it. Let's just see what happens. U unwrap. Well, see, it's pulling pretty hard at these poles right here, this single point where everything comes in together. That's pulling a little bit too hard. So what if we deselected these edges here, Control E, clear seam, and then we say mark a seam right here. Let's try this. Mark a seam there. And before I do the other one, I'm just going to test it out. Let's hit L, U, unwrap. That's looking better. I think maybe if this one split out, that might be a little bit better. So let's try it over here too. I'm going to go ahead and press Shift H again to hide those. And then let's select these. And what did I do? I deselected this, didn't I? Control E, clear seam, and then add an edge or a seam right here. All right, let's try this. U and unwrap. Better. Conformal, angle-based. Oh yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's go with that. Okay, so now that we've got that, let's press Alt-H. That's going to bring everything back. And now let's select this piece here. I'll press Shift-H, and let's take a look at this. Now, for this, we're probably going to have to split this out, right, into a strip that will lay flat. So since it's cylindrical, we can add an edge here, say on the bottom, mark those seams, and that will break that piece out and lay it out flat. In addition, let's go ahead and mark a seam all the way around here, like this. Alt, Shift, click, mark seam. And then we may want to break out the corners here too. Oh, let me get this one here. Let's mark a seam there. And should we split one or a couple out up here? Let's try a couple. Maybe I'll try this one. And let's try, say, this one here. Let's do that. Let's just see how this works. So let's select everything, U, and unwrap. Not bad, actually. Let's go to conformal. We don't see too much of a difference here, do we? Actually, that's probably a little bit better. All right, let's go with that. We can, of course, go to our look dev just to take a look. Okay, so let's press Alt-H, and then we've got this thing right here, right? Let's press Shift-H and work on this. For this thing, well, we're probably going to want to select an edge down at the bottom, right there. And then can we just split this out and let it be? Let's just see. Let's mark a seam right there, and let's see how it splits out. Select A, U, and unwrap. And no, that doesn't quite work. Now does it? Oh, I see. It looks like we've got this piece here. Now, do we need that piece? Do we need this face right here? I don't think we do. I think that's going to be in the gun. So let's go ahead and delete that face. Yeah, sure enough, see it's in the gun there. So let's go ahead and unwrap this. And that's a little better. Now we've got this almost green part here that's stretching quite a bit. I don't know that that's really going to matter much. Let's go over to the look dev and take a look. Yeah, this is just going to be pretty much a metal texture, although this is what's causing the problem right here. So let's go ahead and split that off. I'll mark a seam here, and what let's do is let's just select an edge down here, mark a seam, and then I'm going to select this whole ring and then maybe deselect this one, and let's mark a seam there. Let's see how this works. Well, that broke that out and cleaned that up, but we've still got that stretching around the edges. But I don't think that's going to be a problem back there. This is so small, and it's going to be hidden away. I don't think that's going to really be an issue. All right, so let's press Alt-H and go back. And what else? Well, let's come out here and work on the barrel of the gun here. Let's select this piece here. Press Shift-H, and what should we do here? Well, ultimately, I think we're just going to want to seam right along the bottom here. Let's just do that. Alt-click that. Well, in here, we might be able to clear a seam here. Let's do that. And then we might be able to select this and add a seam here. Okay, so we've got all that. Now what let's do is break it out at each of these pieces. So maybe here, let's mark a seam there. And in here, let's do this. Let me mark a seam here, here, and here. Let's do that. And now let's see how this works. Let's hit A and U and unwrap. And not bad, actually. Let's go to conformal. Not as good. Let's go back. So that kind of splits it out pretty well, actually. If I select this one, let's go to UV sync here. And then let's select face select, and I'll hover over it and press the L key. So that's this part here. That must be the internal part. So let's split this out right here. Let's select this and mark a seam here. There we go. Now let's try it once again. A, U, unwrap. Yeah, that splits that out a little bit better. All right, I'm going to turn off UV sync. And let's go back. Alt-H. What else do we have? Well, while we're up here doing this part of the gun, let's go ahead and get this piece right here. This. And do we have a bolt over here? Yeah, let's do that. Shift-H. For this, let's see what Smart UV Project has for us on this one. Let's hit U and select Smart UV Project. We'll click OK. I've got it at 66 for the angle limit. Let's see how that does. Okay, it breaks it up quite a bit into a lot of pieces. Let's go up to 89 and let's see. Yeah, that reduces the number of pieces there. And it doesn't look too bad. So I think let's just go with that. Okay, Alt-H. And what else should we do? Well, how about the main body of the gun here? Oh, well, there's this plate. Well, I'll come back. Let's do that main body of the gun. I'll press Shift-H, and let's take a look at this. I'll turn on solid viewport shading. And how should we do this? Well, we could probably begin by just going through and getting all the corners here. Let's just try this. Just go through and select all of these corners. There we go. And let's mark a seam here. And then let's split it off on the bottom as well. Let's add a seam all the way around the bottom. See how this works. Like this. And let's just see how this looks now and see what we need to concentrate on. Let's press the L key, U, and unwrap. All right, so this is angle-based. Let's look at conformal. All right, I think what's going on is we've got some pulling in here and some pulling in these things as well, these extrusions here. So let's first deal with this thing right up here. Let's maybe break this out some way. Maybe we could even select this whole edge right down here and mark a seam underneath here. Let's try this. Okay. I'll select A, U, and unwrap. And that's interesting. That's a little bit better. Yeah, look at conformal. That's pretty good. So now really our main problem is these things right here. We've kind of cleaned up this area. There's still some stretching, but it's pretty small. All right, so let's work on this area, which are these things right here. So how should we do this? Well, we could maybe take some of these edges like this. Let's try this and add this. Let me just try one side here. L, U, unwrap. And what do we think? Well, we've kind of opened that up. That's not bad. Let's do one more seam here. Let's unwrap this. Yeah, so, well, now we've got overlapping UVs. So this can be a problem too. If we go to vertex or UV select, you can see that this vertex right here is underneath or on top of the other UVs here. So that's a problem. We don't want overlapping UVs. So let me go ahead and deselect these. I'll clear these. And let me mark the ones on the other side. And let's see how this is going to work if we have them both selected here. Let's try this. There we go. Unwrap. Now let's take a look at it. Well, we've still got that pulling with the green. Let's take a look at it in LookDev and see what we can see here. Yeah, we've still got some pulling here. So I think probably the best thing to do is to break this piece out completely. I don't think we're really going to get a whole lot better here. So let's go ahead and take these and clear the seams. And then let's go ahead and just take this whole piece off by having a seam all the way around here. And also we want to break out the edges, right? Since it is a block like this, a cube. Let's go ahead and break that out. And now let's try this. U and unwrap. How'd we do here? Yeah, so we just basically broke it out so it's open there. And I think that'll be fine. Let's go ahead and do that. So what I need to do is deselect these or clear the seams from here, clear the seams from here, and then we can mark these all the way around here. So yeah, sometimes you've just got to break something out completely to get it to lay flat. So let's hit U and unwrap, and there we go. All right, I think that looks pretty good. All right, let's go back with Alt-H. And in the next video, we're going to maybe try and clean up the rest of this. It looks like we've got the ammo box, the bracket, this piece down here, and the post. So we will work on those coming up next.